One of my good friends had been fostering with her family for like a few years now. And in June, had just gotten these 2 kids.
I went on a mission trip in 2004 and just knew I had a heart for kids that were in need. And I knew I wanted to somehow incorporate that into my life when I was married. I didn't actually tell him that until maybe after the fact that we were married.
Man, I was extremely apprehensive. It was a sermon. I wish I knew which one it was, but Joby kind of just said it offhand and like, we're all fostered and adopted in this kingdom. And I was like, whoa. I just remember where I was standing, and when I called her, I was like, we got to do this.
Fostering is to take a child or multiple children in and to give them a loving environment.
Essentially just standing in the gap for these little kids.
To give these families, to help them, to come alongside of them, and for them to know we're not their mom and dad, but we will stand in the gap and be that for them during this time. We got the call for Ava and Elias to do respite for them, for another family that they were with. And we thought, well, we can take 2 for the weekend. It'll just, be a fun Memorial Day weekend. And then they needed permanent placement.
I mean, I was ready to bring them in. I mean, we just had to make room. It wasn't easy dealing with the trauma, dealing with changing diapers again.
I was nervous because they were 14 months apart. And so it was like, okay, we're just all going to have to adjust. And we don't have an extra room in our home. So we just put a little girl with our daughter and the little boy with our son. And we were just praying and trusting the Lord. And I felt excited. I felt ready. And then I just felt really inadequate.
You just tell a lot had gone on. And he, if I was anywhere around him, raised my hand or did something, he would flinch.
They needed so much, and they had been through so much. And so to have them in my home and knowing I wanted to give them love in a safe place. And Mom was dealt a hard life, and I would always remind myself of that. Like, she has so much against her, and all I want to do is let her know that we love her and champion her. But in the midst, you have her kids in your home that are really, really hard and really want to be with her, and you're just like, how do I reconcile all of this for them? So we have a friend that we know from church, and she had rallied around our family from the first day these babies came in our home.
Probably when we started the 10-10 life, just the whole foster care kids thing was just like what I felt like the Lord wanted me to do.
I mean, before we knew it, we were helping watch the kids, on the weekends, and, we would take them out to the park, and that's when I started getting close with Anna and Gabe, and we would go over there and have dinner with them, and just kind of, spent time as one big family after that.
We had spent almost 2 years with them in our home. We were really tired. We've always said we would consider adoption. And as much as I wanted to say yes, I also wrestled with the Lord if we would be doing these babies a disservice.
That was hard. I felt like I was holding a big heavy rock trying to make a decision.
Amanda and I have a great relationship. She just loved them. And so she was engaged. And I was trying to wrap my brain around okay, we're not adopting them. And she said, well, what if we did?
So it was June of 23, and we were gonna get married 6 months later. To a lot of people, including him, it was like, okay, you're crazy, right?
I mean, there was just no way in my mind that we were ready to adopt. So at first, I didn't even give it thought. I said, there's no way we can do it.
There was a really clear time when I felt the Lord said, I want you to be the mom and dad for them. And we probably went through this for like a year.
One time we were in the parking lot, we were kind of going back and forth saying, she felt like she wanted to adopt and I felt like I didn't want to. I got a phone call in my truck and it was actually someone from the church. And they said, "Is this a good time to pray for you?" And I was like, "This is actually a great time to pray for me." That's the first time I felt God kind of tugging at my heart. I was finishing up med school at the time and I wasn't sure where we were going to be placed for my residency. It could have been anywhere in the country. So on a Friday afternoon, we were sitting in my truck and we opened up the email to see where I was going to be, and I ended up here in Jacksonville, and that was the final straw for me. I was like, God wants us to have these kids. On August 2nd, we officially welcomed Ava and Elias into our family.
I think I might cry. Hold on. Now, Ava and Elias have a forever mom and dad.
The whole idea of standing in the gap is providing for someone who can't provide for themselves. To this day, I feel like they were here. We were able to prepare them for their forever home. God does have a plan for them. I mean, we just kept praying, just let us be somewhat conduits of influence.
Being a foster parent, you have to be willing to give up all comforts of what maybe you've known in order for this child to experience, right, the unconditional love of God and the gospel.
When I really sit and reflect on what the Lord did for me, who am I to not give up my life for them?